You know who else is a part of Amazon?
Very nice.
Charissa Thompson. She's a part of Amazon. She's the host of the coverage on Thursday nights for Amazon Prime. And people are not happy with her. They are not happy with something that she said. This was on Pardon My Take. She talked about her time as a sideline reporter in the NFL. So let's take it away.
And I've said this before, so I haven't been fired for saying it, but I'll say it again. I would make up the report sometimes because, A, the coach wouldn't come out at halftime, or it was too late, and I was like, I didn't want to screw up the report, so I was like, I'm just going to make this up. Because, first of all, no coach is going to get mad if I say, hey, we need to stop hurting ourselves. We need to be better on third down. We need to stop turning the ball
Pressure
over.
the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. and do a better job of getting off the field. Like, they're not going to correct me on that.
Right.
So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just make up the report.
Now,
but what if that's not what's going on?
Well, but that's the problem. Now, people are very, very upset. They feel like they've been bamboozled. You had sideline reporters who went to social media and talked about how this damages their reputation and how hard they work on their craft, and all of that is fair. I mean, I know this. I'm probably still going to keep watching the NFL. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that this is going to deter me from watching the NFL. So it feels like a bit of an overreaction from people taking shots at Charissa Thompson over this.
Let me say this, because I've been around Charissa. I've worked around Charissa. I would say this. She is extremely talented and great at her job, like as a host in a production meeting. You know, and a lot of people don't really know what that means. A production meeting is where you're going to find out what you're going to talk about in a show. And I've found Charissa to be probably the best that I've ever sat in a room and listened to the producers, the talent, everyone talk about what they're trying to talk about. And she does an incredible job. And I think she came up through the producing side, so she kind of gets it from that perspective. But she does an incredible job of knowing what needs to be said and how the talent wants to get there, how to get them there, and what the producers are looking for and what viewers are looking for. Like, she's been incredibly successful in her job and career for a reason. And so from a professional standpoint, like, she, to me, is one of the best at what she does. Now, she's not really doing sideline reporting, which is a bit, odd that everyone's, all of a sudden drawing a big issue with this. And not taking away from the fact that you obviously shouldn't do that. But this also isn't something that if you listen to the podcast, because I'm sure many people who chimed in on social media only heard the clip, and they probably don't listen to Charissa and Aaron's podcast all the time. And not that I do either, but in this particular case, I went back and listened to more of it than just the Part of My Take clip to be able to hear other instances. And I'll just say this, like, it's not like she did that all the time. Like, everyone, it went from it being, hey, I've done this before, to, oh, every report was fabricated. Like, why is our society like that? Where, like, one little thing here or there, and people who are coming out of the woodwork, it's like, okay, let me ask you this. Did you ever at some point maybe fib or make something up or lie to someone because you weren't quite where you wanted to be or weren't quite doing what you're supposed to be doing, or the dog ate your homework? Like, I feel like we're so easy to look at someone and be like, oh, well, they're wrong, that's wrong, they should be fired, or whatever they want to say with that. And yet we never look in the mirror. So I sit there and look at it and just say, should she have done that? No. Is it tough when you're on live television and your producer's asking you for a report and you're supposed to be telling everyone what the head coach said? Yeah. I mean, in part, that's on a little bit of the producer. Because if she's hitting him back saying, hey, the coach isn't coming out, he needs to say, well, then, hey, we're canning this. Now, the problem is the formatics of any live game. They'll tell you that, like, that's what they want. They want to hear what the one coach said going into the locker room, one coach said going out of it. And how it usually works, the winning coach goes going into the locker room, the losing coach gets it coming out of the locker room. Usually how it works. And so if you can't get one of those two guys, it's going to reflect poorly on her, meaning she can't do her job. And she was saying stuff that, like, wasn't overly punitive. Like, she kind of admitted to that, how she'd phrase it. But she didn't do it all the time. And so I'm not trying to make light of it, because in reality, if she was doing that, she probably should have told anyone she was doing that. But she should have never done it in the first place. But it's also not something where people need to be calling for a job or just standing on the soapbox taking a grand stand about it. I mean, it's ridiculous the way our society reacts to stuff like this. Like, calm down. She's not perfect. You're not perfect. Relax, all right? Like, we're still going to watch the NFL.
And I think One of the sorry to interrupt, Laura, but one of the examples that she gave is she asked a coach, what sort of adjustments are you going to make for the second half, whatever it was, and I think the coach responded with, "That perfume smells really nice." It's like, so what is she supposed to do? A couple minutes into the second half, let's go down to Charissa for an update from the sideline. Well, he liked my Issey Miyake perfume, and, that's what we got here for the second half. Back to you guys. No, so she was like, all right,
He said he wanted to kiss me.
Like, I can't go on the air with
I want to
that, so
kiss
what do you want me to do?
Can I kiss you right now?
I mean, she could have just aired the coach out, or made those. But,
right.
I just feel like people ran with this because they just want something to be outraged about. They can't help it. Every day,
you know what they like,
to be
too?
Something.
People like easy targets. And obviously, Charissa is incredibly successful, and she's not going to fire back at someone, right? And so people like fights where they can poke fun or they can say stuff because they know that she's probably above all of it. She's not going to give it the time of day. She's already at the top, of her career and what she's doing. And so, it's a bunch of people. There's probably some who are envious, probably some who are jealous. There's probably some who are saying, well, if I did that in my career, I would never, be able to keep. For starters, she's not doing that job anymore. So, what are we talking about? We're acting like she's down there,
and
saying
you're not her.
She's not her, right?
Yeah, you're not her. Some people can do what they do because of what you said earlier. They're just great at what they're doing. Right. When you've had a whole lot of reps and you've got a lot of experience, you learn how to fudge it sometimes. That's just what it is. It's part of it. People have had to adapt and to adjust and ad-lib in more than one instance, such as the one she's using. While it is not something that you should make a habit of doing. She's basically saying, for what it's worth, this is how I read it. You're basically saying I'm professional enough to still give a generalized vanilla approach to what needs to be done when I didn't get the cooperation I needed to do my job. Done. She ain't got to apologize for that. And you don't need to sit there and think that you're her and you're not getting no opportunities and you wouldn't be able to get away with it. You're right. You're right. So live with it. But that doesn't mean she's not great at what she does. She's climbed to the top because she is great at what she does. She was at Big Ten Network. She's been around a really long time. I love it when people pay their dues. When you've been in this business a long time and you can see, oh, wait, you go back 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they were doing smaller jobs, local jobs, different things like that you didn't know anything about, but you think this is an overnight success story for a lot of these people that have put in the time and the effort. I don't have a problem with her coming out and saying it.
Let's just take this on a grander scheme, too. In the world that we live in now, okay, knowing what we know about our sports, obviously, and news information and how we get it. This is the hill you're going to die on. This was the final straw of misinformation or news or something that bothered you.
It's so dumb, man.
Really? This is that time where you really want to throw a fit about someone who's yeah, I made up and said something kind of generic. And honestly, it almost sounds like at times she was protecting the people either because of what they said or they weren't, coming out. And maybe she's got a personal relationship and she's like, yeah, they're not going to say anything anyway. But this is the hill.
Thank you, Joe.
This is the hill you're willing to die on with everything else that's out there and the way media's handled? Are we serious?
It's also, I saw some, I'm not going to, name names, but sideline reporters who were some of the comments, because people, one of the go-tos after this story came out was, oh, big deal. Nobody cares about the sideline reporters anyways. Me personally, I think Kaylee Hartung does a great job on Thursday Night Football. There's
Lisa Salters.
Yes, Pam.
There's a lot of them.
Pam Oliver.
Jenny
Pam
Taft,
Oliver, they do a great job. Jenny Taft, they do great jobs.
Jenny Taft is awesome. But there is this sense of, at a certain point, we also have to acknowledge, we're all spokes in the wheel. We're not the wheel. And the league is still going to be here, and it's still going to go forward. People are going to say what they want to say, and they're going to dismiss and discredit what you do. It doesn't mean that you have to just be outraged and put more of a value on. Everything we do has a value, but at the end of the day, people are going to watch these games regardless. I don't look at what Charissa Thompson said as, oh my God, this is just making a mockery of that portion of the business. No, it's a portion of the business that still has value. And if people are going to throw some shade on the profession, screw it. Ignore them. Don't read the comments and just do your job. That's all you can do. But too many people get upset about this stuff. Too worked up.
It's odd the things that people get worked up about too, and like all the different things I've seen on it. When I'm like, you know how hard it is, by the way, for sideline reporters to get anything into a broadcast. You know how hard it is. Like they get a pregame hit, and then I'm not saying they're hoping for an injury, but if there's an injury, like that's their time to shine. They're down there, they're on the field, they can see it, they can give you a on the field view of it. And outside of that, you're going to get the coach going in, the coach coming out. And then maybe if it's a blowout, you get some good stories that come along with it, or maybe another story. But, like, that's it. That's all you get. And so when that's, like, your only opportunity, and if a team's coach isn't compliant with it, or he's not even willing to go out there and say anything, like, what do you think someone's going to do? I mean, honestly, like she's put in a tough spot in some of those instances. And again, everyone acts like it's every single time. It was a few times. It's crazy to me where people seem to get outraged with certain things. And this is one that it's just not worth it, folks. I'm sorry.
Do you think RG3 will campaign for her job too? Do you think
it's
that's
possible?
Happen, or
it's possible now. Don't get it twisted. It's on the sideline.
All right.
The closer he can get, that's strategic. He can run a 4-3, so he can run down the sideline with the plays and do.
Yes, that is true. He will list his credentials.
He could do his sideline analysis while he's running down the field and showing, like, look at this, guys. I'm faster than the guy running the ball to get this touchdown. You should sign me. One of those type deals.
Coach, I saw you guys struggled in the 2-minute drill. I happen to be a 75% completion percentage in the 2-minute drill in my time. I don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah, it feels like RG3 could fit that role too. I mean, there's nothing he can't do.
There you go.
Yeah, there's nothing he can't do.